about
square for the horses, but we like action on this, you know, come
I understand that.
The chips will go out the right horses. They didn't give them Teresa.
Yeah.
Brandon's gonna get around here. No, they in trouble. They gonna work on everything, so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the hour's arrived. I call this meeting to order. By your head, we'll have the invocation. Heavenly Father, may our deliberations and actions be acceptable in your sight. Amen. Let's pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gentlemen, I would like to get us to insert a 4A and a 4B. 4A, I would ask if you will approve it. It has to do with fire ant control and mosquito control. Mosquito and fire ant control, a fellow mentioned it to me, and it was after all this had, is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it?
A fellow had mentioned to me something about he's contracted with a lot of cities around, and that he proposes, and I've got a flyer or two here, pass that down for y'all share one, and down here, Randy, you and here's an extra one. Here. I want to put 4A as something to do with fire ant mosquito control, and I'd like to modify 4B to put an October event at the golf course. If I entertain a motion that you'll allow me to do that, move that 4A and 4B be inserted.
I make a motion, we amend the agenda for 4A fire ant mosquito control and 4B October event at golf course.
Motion's made that we insert those two items. Is there a second?
Second.
Second and third. Any further discussion? Here none, a call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposition. We've got an amended agenda. Let's see now. Let's now vote. I entertain a motion that we approve the amended agenda.
Make a motion.
Mr. Griffin's made a motion that we approve the amended agenda. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Bloodworth. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have approved an amended agenda. We're now at, on our schedule here, item 2, and as you heard at the work session, our attorney has said that we had a little fretfulness or worry that we might have been somewhat negligent in putting all of our, we had it all done and everything was balanced and all of our budget, but we failed to, in a place or two, publish what we should have about the budget. We do have a good budget. Our accountant has got it all entered, and our books are proceeding as they're supposed to. So we've been instructed that we don't need to do a thing, so thank you, Mr. Attorney, for giving us a bill of health on that. Out at the golf course, Mr. Number 3 now, Jim Peterson has been a stalwart in Haguelar's golfing community for years and years and years. You know, he was a golf scholarship athlete and has been a great golfer and been on our board out there. He's moved to St. Charles Island, and the board out there has recommended that Miss Anita Herndon be put on the advisory board for the golf course. Entertain a motion to that effect.
Make a motion for Anita Herndon to be put on the golf course advisory board.
Mr. Bloodworth made the motion that we appoint Anita Herndon on the golf course advisory board. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, a call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, Ms. Herndon is thereby appointed. As Mr. Ramey, as Mr. Glosson returned from his resource officer training,
I am not aware of the fact whether the training is supposed to go off for 2 weeks. It would be the second week, I think. And we're just waiting on the contract to be resolved now. Everything is underway.
You know anything about, is he in his last week, or do you know?
He is in his last week. He'll be returning Sunday.
Coming back Sunday, he
Yes,
will
sir.
have completed all of his required training.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and as far as the vehicle that we struggled with Monday night, we found a vehicle that one of our city supervisors had been driving, and we've cleaned it some, and they're doing additional cleaning on it, and it will work fine. It's a large F-150 Ford pickup that Mr. Lawson will find that he will sit very, very well in it. So we've got that taken care of with reference to the other officer. Where are we now?
4A.
Okay, 4A. We have a flyer here that these gentlemen have just seen it now, and we just amended this. This company, Southern Fire Ant and Mosquito Control, they're doing this in Cochran and Hawkinsville and Sandersville and I don't know where all. And he says what they found, and he would like to come and present it to y'all. And he asked me to preliminary throw this to you, that if we add on our bill, and I told him we were reluctant to add anything on our water bill, he says $3 a month, year-round, will pay for year-round fire ant and mosquito control. All expenses and all on it. And I think $3 a month, if somebody goes and buys a home defense jug of poison to spray their house, it's more than that. But at any rate, so that you know in advance, it's I think he sprays and does all this every 2 weeks or more often, depending upon infestation and the problem that he finds. I had some people that knew him to recommend him very highly. Said, man tells you he'll do something, and he'll do it. I don't know him from Adam's house yet. I met him one time. But they say he's got a reputable business and that he does this, and he told me, he says, I found that it works best for the city to put it on the water bill. I think we're getting some more liquid sunshine out there. So would you like for me to invite the man to come talk to us, or what do you think?
Well, we do have, in the past and gone, the city did spray for mosquitoes and whatever else until they quit spraying what actually worked, and there was stuff that
The skeeter jeter don't work no
don't
more.
work no more. I mean,
That's
it's just one of those things, because we used to take, we used to have to tell kids quit following the skeeter truck when it comes by. But I mean, the stuff they've got now that the cities are allowed to spray does not work for mosquitoes. We need some kind of control, and I mean, just here in recent days, I've gone down, and I think it was either Ashford or Camilla, and I seen somebody out there spraying for mosquitoes and everything in their town and whatever else, and it wasn't a city truck that I saw, so I'm sure they have somebody doing this for them and everything, but we do have a mosquito problem here, and I mean, they're big enough they can stand flat-footed and fly off with you, but I mean, I think it's worth him coming down to present it to the council. I mean, we're not committed to anything. We do need to find out what kind of pricing it will be and then figure what we can get by with what we can do. I mean, that's my opinion.
Anybody else besides Mr. Griffin got any comments on this?
I agree that we need to help with both of them. For mosquitoes, it's both for people and for animals. We need to control the pool. It would be good to get him to present it and see what we can do with it.
Okay, why don't y'all tell me to invite him at our next meeting?
Invite him.
In fact, I think I'll bring him in at our work session, maybe, it might be, but yeah, I'll bring him in at our work session and let him present it to us, and he can bring in some other information he may have for us. Is that okay with everybody?
Sounds good.
I'll do it. Let's move on to 4B. I just found out about this afternoon, but I'm kind of excited about it. I don't know why. We have the annual steak cook-off, big event here. All these teams come in and compete in cooking these steaks, and then they have to cook so many and bring them in, and we sell tickets, and everybody gets a steak, baked potato, and a salad, and they give them all the prizes. It's been taking place down here at the end of the street at the school here. But it's been presented to me, to present to you folks, that they want to have it at the golf course. I said, we don't have enough room. They said, yeah, you do, we've been out there to look. So I went out there after they called me this afternoon. And sure enough, back there where the swimming pool was, it's a good long distance far from here to the street almost out there, pretty wide. Another place where they won't involve, where they tee off on hole number 1. And we've got another tennis court that we aren't using as a parking lot. That full area can be opened up back there. So after I got up there and looked at it, and knowing how many people set up, we can set up out there. And they can play golf all they want to, they won't be in the way. And we can do it, and we've got that big dining room. All the people can come in there. In fact, we've got actually more seating in the golf dining room with the other dining room back there. We can put all that in use. And so they won't have it out there, but that ain't all. They want to move it to the Georgia-Florida weekend, the day of the Georgia-Florida football game. They want to go in there and set up a big screen TV. And they want to, all you teetotalers, close your ears, as they'd be in the ball game, they want to get Mr. Robert Wiggins or someone that can legally have an open bar out there with beer and refreshments at the ball game. They want to include all that and have a real hoedown, a Georgia-Florida. We're going to have a Gator Bowl Florida deal out here at the Hazelhurst Golf Course. That's what they won't have. Now, I think I've pretty well presented y'all what they want to do. And I did call Robert Wiggins, and he owns Dick's Wings, in case y'all don't know who Robert Wiggins is. And they had already run it by him. He said, I'd love to do it, be glad to. He's got the staff and their people to do it. There are some questions. And we're going to leave that, if it suits y'all, up to Mr. Smith to look into a little bit of that. But generally, I've given you the gist of it. It's the Georgia-Florida Saturday. Moved this event that we sponsor anyway, the Chamber of Commerce and all, and they're all the ones promoting this. They want to make it quite a day out there. And they want to know what the City Council of Hazelhurst thinks about it.
Is this the same group that puts it on? That,
Oh, yeah, the Chamber of Commerce.
Not that-
Oh, yeah, same people.
oh,
They just want to move it out there and jazz it up a bit.
I don't see an issue with it, I mean, because the chamber's gonna have it somewhere, and we might as well take and allow them to have it at our facility as opposed to somebody else jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, because we support it, regardless, we support this venture every year. And like I said, that being said, I mean, I don't have an issue with us having them use our facility.
What's that now?
That's the day.
27th of October, yeah. The only thing, everything will be just like Mr. Johnson's question down there. It'll be the same, the Chamber of Commerce sponsored it, same cooks and that we've always seen. They have to cook so many extra steaks for us to sell tickets, or them to sell tickets. And the only thing will be now is it is the Georgia-Florida football game that day. They're going to put in a big screen TV reflected on the wall or something, so that everybody can be involved with the Georgia-Florida football game and the liquor or beer deal. And but now you know that we allow that at the events out there already. They just have to have police officers when we lease it to people who serve alcohol out there. But anyway, we'll have to get the attorney to check into the legalities of this and whatnot, and come back and tell us that he'll keep us out of trouble. Anything else? Okay, I entertain a motion that we look into it and attempt to provide the Chamber of Commerce the place to handle this event, and in the manner they'd like to do it, if we can find that we can accommodate them. Can y'all?
I'll make a motion that we do it.
Mr. Richards made the motion that we try to accommodate the Chamber of Commerce in moving the state cook-off to the city facility out at the golf course, and it will include some additional refreshments and whatnot. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll try to fulfill their request. Okay, where are we now? Oh man, we're down. Have y'all read these minutes? Entertain a motion that we approve them in mass.
So,
Mr. Johnson made a motion that we approve the minutes of March the 12th, March the 15th, April the 16th, and April 19th. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Bloodworth seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing, any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carried. Y'all seen the water and sewer adjustment? I entertain a motion that we approve that. Mr. Johnson made a motion that we approve the adjustments. What is that amount, y'all? I looked at it and I already forgot what it. Yeah, it's very small this time. Very minor. All right, entertain a motion that we approve the water and sewer adjustment. Have we got a motion?
Got a motion.
And a second. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's carried. Now then, you looked at the check register. Any questions or comments relative to the checks, to the money's been spent? I have, I got a thing, we're spending too much. Okay, hearing nothing relative to that item, citizen comments. Good gracious, Ron, I can't believe you come back. You sure you can come up with something? No,
I've
no,
been quiet
please.
too long.
Please go. Okay. Commissioners?
did we address, you were supposed to bring back about the light tonight?
What?
The light.
Why
Did you talk to the state?
Oh, I haven't been to Jessup or talked to him, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but now it is a working order. I saw that was handled a month or two, maybe, they've been 3 months now. It is still an active order, and I said, by all means, it's active. Now, I haven't got the drawing and the design, there won't be any change apparently in the design, but there will be some modification in the estimate of the cost. The last estimate to put that light up was $80,000, and I'll assure you, it'll break 100. I'll still work on it.
And refresh my memory, when is the construction supposed to start on the overpass? Is that the end of this year? or the-
First of next.
First of next year.
And the bridge is gonna start about the same time.
That'll work.
So we're gonna have with the overpass here, the bridge over the Omaha River, and all the traffic that's gonna be going on here, it's gonna be fun. That's a joke. But it's much needed, it's gonna help our community a lot, so both will be real assets to us. Council, anything else? You don't need us to go back on, do you? You got a mop, you gonna mop up the water?
I clean up messes, but not that kind.
Can y'all believe this, Mr. Johnson?
So move.
Mr. Johnson moved that we adjourn. Mr. Bloodworth second. Motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good evening.
18 minutes.
That's got to be right.
Next
Thursday.
Thursday.
Closing on Wayne's property exposure, to go ahead and take out.
Further order.